Hello everyone. In this video we are going to continue our discussion on the Linux wildcards. So in the last video we talked about the asterisk, which is a wildcard that matches or represents any characters, and we also mentioned the question mark, which is a wildcard that represents or matches any single character. And we now know the difference between the asterisk and the question mark. So let's continue and deepen our knowledge about the Linux wildcards. So right now I have, as you can see, many files on my desktop, and I have directory 1 which is initially empty. So let's say that you're interested in a range of characters. So you can specify a range by using square brackets, and here you put the range of the characters. So what do I mean by this? Imagine that if you want to copy all the files that begins with the lowercase letters A, B, or C. So if you want this, you can say cp and then put square brackets here, and then here you specify your characters ABC, and then followed by anything, directory 1. So what I'm saying here is that copy all the files that begins with the lowercase letters A, B, or C, followed by anything. I don't care about anything. I just care about, all I care about is that it begins with the lowercase letters A, B, or C. So if you look here, you would see that apples, bananas, and carrots will be the only guys that qualify for this command. And if I execute this command here and I go to my directory 1, you'd see apples, bananas, and carrots. Awesome. I'll delete them now. So here, using the square bracket, you can specify a range of characters. Okay. So what if you want to do the complement of this command? If you want to execute the opposite of this command. So what do I mean by this? What if you say cp exclamation mark abc star directory 1. So when you put an exclamation mark here, that means that I will do the complement of this command, or the opposite of this command. So what I'm saying is that copy all the files that does not begin with the lowercase letters A, B, or C. So if I execute this command, you would see that it includes all the files, but it did not include apples, bananas, or carrots, because here I said the exclamation mark here means that it does not include. So this command is actually the complement of this command. So if you know mathematics or computer science, you would know what I mean by a complement, just like unions and sets and etc. Right? Because like this command plus this command covers all the files. This is why I say the complement. Okay. So when you say exclamation mark range, it means all the characters that is not in this range. Okay. So let's do another example. Let's say, for example, let's delete everything here first. Okay, delete it. So let's say that you want to include all the files that begins with a number. So for example, 1G, this guy here, this guy, and this guy, and this guy, and this guy. Okay, so I want to include all these files here that begins with numbers. So I would say cp square brackets 0 to 9, and I don't care about anything else, directory 1. And if I go here, I would see all the guys that I talked about. So any file that begins with a number was covered. So simply, as you can see, cp, or like a number, a digit, and then dash digit, is a range, right? So when I say 0-9, it means all the numbers from 0 to 9. However, for example, let's say that I have a file here called which is for example, I'll call it 8. Okay, and let's delete everything here. and let's say that, for example, I want to copy all the files from 0 that begins with the number 0 to 7, directory 1. So of course, if I go to directory 1 here, I will not see 8 because I did not include 8 in my range. However, if I put 8 here, 8 will be included, as you can see. Okay, so that's how you can include numbers, and you can specify a range of numbers. Okay, let's delete this guy as well, and let's move forward. So you can also specify a class or a category of characters. So what do I mean by this? Let's say, for example, that, so right now my directory 1 is empty, right? Let's say that you want to copy all the files that begins with an uppercase letter. So you can say colon or 2 square brackets and then upper, and then you close the square brackets, and I don't care what the end was. All I care here about is the beginning of the character. Okay, and copy to directory 1. So what I'm saying here is that copy all the files that begins with an uppercase letter. Okay, so here it will cover Paris, Rome, London, and Linux, and that's it. So it will cover Rome, Linux, London, and Paris. So if I execute this command and I open my directory 1, I should see Linux, London, Paris, and Rome. So all these guys here begins with an uppercase letter. So this is how you can do it. And if I delete all these guys here, and I said copy all the guys with lowercase letters, begins with the lowercase letters, so this is very easy as well. So if I open my directory 1 now, I would see all the files that begins with a lowercase letter. Of course, the numbers here, like any file beginning with a number, is not included because the number is not considered to be a lowercase letter, and the London, Linux, Paris, and Rome are also not included because they are not an uppercase. They do not begin with an uppercase letters. Okay, there is also two other useful classes or categories of characters, which is the digit. So, for example, you can say copy. So let's delete everything here first. Let's say, for example, that you want to copy all the files that begins with a digit. Actually, all the files that end with a digit, not begins. So I would say digit directory 1. So here it will copy all the files that ends with a digit or a number. So can you see any of these files? Yeah, I can see G1. Actually, I can see this guy 1G1 and this guy also, and 123, 193, and these two guys here, and also these guys. So it will not include, for example, 1G. It will not include 2G and 3G. Okay, let's go to directory 1, and right now we can see all the files that ends with a number or ends with a digit, as you can see. So the digit is also a very famous category of class, or like category of characters, right? Okay, there are two more category of classes, which is the alphanumeric and the alpha. So if you said here copy all the files that begins with an alphabetic character, an alphabetic, like with any file that begins with an alphabet, right? And copy it to directory 1. So this will not include anything that begins with a number. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, it does not include anything that begins with a number. However, if you want to include numbers as well, you can say ALNUM. So this will be alphanumeric. If you go there, you can see all our files now. So there are 5 categories. There is digit, there is also alpha, which is alphabets. There is also alphanumeric, which includes both alphabets and digits. There is also lowercase letters, and there is also an uppercase letters. So in total we have 5 classes: digit, alpha, alphabets, alphanumerics, lower, and upper. And these guys are very, very useful, as you can see. So let's do 2 more examples. Let's say, for example, that you want to copy. Let's make sure that our directory 1 is empty first. So right now I want to copy all my files that begins with a digit. So you have to put 2 square brackets here, digit, and ends with an alphabet. Okay, and copy it to directory 1. So here I copy all the files that begins with a digit and ends with an alphabet. So something like 1G and 2G and 3G and that's it. So it should include 1G, 2G and 3G. These are only the guys that should be included, as you can see. So combining classes or categories of characters is very useful, as you can see. And you can actually do the negation. So you can say cp so here I'm saying copy all the files that does not begin with a digit, because here I have an exclamation mark. No, yeah, here I have those guys from the old. So if I delete this, let's see, if I delete this and I execute this command again, it will include all the files that does not begin with a number or a digit. So you can use the exclamation mark as well here in the categories of classes. Okay, let's do one more example before we end this lecture or this video. Let's copy. So let's first delete everything that I have. Okay, let's say that I want to copy all the files that begins with an alphabet, or actually with a lowercase letter. Okay, and ends with a digit. To directory 1. So anything that begins with a lowercase letter, for example, G, G1, G2, and G3 should be the only guys here. Yeah, G1, G2, and G3. Okay, so awesome. So that's all about wildcards. You know now about the asterisk, which matches any character. You know about the question mark, which matches any single character. You know about the ranges. You know about the complement of the ranges. You know about numbers, how to put numbers here, 0, 9, etc. You know about classes of characters. You know about digits, alphanumerics, numerics, lower and uppercase letters. So right now you basically know about everything that is related to wildcards. And wildcards are very, very useful. and you would see yourself using them a lot if you continue to use your Linux command line. So that's it for this video. Ciao!